Hello, my name is Brian Cochran, and today we're going to be talking about 10 things to think about before you start your business and the 10 things you need to get started in starting a new business. I've been in business now since 1974. Been a solo entrepreneur where I've been doing business forever, it seems like, and I enjoy being a business entrepreneur. And I'm a business consultant and coach now, helping people to start, manage, and grow their company. And so we want to kind of help some folks, and we've been asked to do this seminar and help people through the steps it's going to take and be encouraged about what it's going to take to actually start their own business. So let's get started. Opening your business is often a learn as you go process, but the more smart decisions you make early on, the better chance your company has for success. And then the third portion, I'll go backwards. And then if you have an entrepreneurial idea, these are the 10 steps that we're going to go through to kind of help you organize your thoughts and your idea and encourage you to go forward. In opening your business, it is a learn as you go process, because one of the things that I learned because I said as earlier that I've been in business since 1974, that I'm always learning, ever learning, as trends change, as things change, as technology changes. I've had to change my business a bunch of times. I couldn't hold on to the same model as before, because as things become more modern and more accessible, I had to change with the times. And so I had an early decision. I had to make smart decisions in being able to be adaptable, because I found a lot of folks are not adaptable, and so they end up hurting themselves in business because of that. So make sure you're adaptable. Make sure you change when you need to. Don't hold on to something that's dead. You look at I use McDonald's a lot as one of my illustrations. The McDonald brothers started McDonald's out here in San Bernardino, California. And they had an idea of franchising, and it didn't work. But the challenge that they had was when they finally started going forward. Then when Ray Kroc came in and he saw, an opportunity, they're like, no, it didn't work. We tried that, but because he saw it from a different perspective, the rest is history. And so you too, don't get yourself stuck and caught into not being able to learn and grow and change, because if you don't, you'll stuck and die. Be stuck and die. So let's start with number one. Address excuses. Countless people dream of being entrepreneurs, but they never do. And part of that is because excuses. We all have excuses. They're like, I'm not going to say that. I'll just keep it clean. So anyway, address them, get over them. A lot of folks won't do it because of fear. They think they don't have the budget to do it. They think they don't have the right resources to do it. But the thing about it is, you do have the right resources. You do have a way of doing it. You do have a way of being successful. It's just a matter of you going forward and doing it and finding the right people, the right team, the right concept, the right product or service, and go for it. Don't let nothing stop you. If you have an idea, God's giving you a vision and an idea for a business, do it, because He's the one that gives you the ability to get wealth, to establish His covenant. He's giving you witty inventions and ideas, so take advantage of what God-given talents and abilities He's giving you to do it, so that way you'll end up being successful and at least make a living doing what you enjoy. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Be like a sponge and absorb everything, and listen to what others have to say, because one of the things you realize that the good and the bad. The bad part would be, well, you're not called to be a business owner. You don't have you don't have the. I've heard people say that about certain people. They said that, but it's like Thomas Edison. He had his thought was, when folks were saying he couldn't do it, he would just say, look, I'm looking for one way that does work. And so it's all in your mindset. Absorb everything. Listen to people, but surround yourself around people that are doing what you want to do. If you're around a bunch of haters and doubters, guess what? With haters and doubters, the chances of you being successful is hard, because they're going to talk you out of doing something. Association brings about assimilation. So if you hang around with knuckleheads, you're going to be a knucklehead. If you hang out with dogs, you're going to get fleas. And so if you want to be successful, hang out with great people, absorb everything, learn what you can, because in doing so, it'll encourage you to go forward. Get around motivational people, motivational speakers, all those folks that are doing great things that you want to do. Surround yourself around them, and be like a sponge and absorb everything. Number three, be a solution. What that means is, rather than starting your idea with what to sell, think about what it will solve. And so one of the things I share Facebook. I mean, not Facebook. Excuse me. I share Shark Tank a lot, and with Shark Tank, they're always talking about does it solve a problem? Or a lot of times you hear them say it doesn't solve a problem. So why are you doing it? Every idea is not a great idea. Every idea is maybe not a God idea. So between the two, what you need to do is first and foremost see that you can solve a problem. See what something that something that's lacking, something that's missing in the marketplace that you're able to do, that you're passionate about, that you love about, which we'll talk more in detail in a minute. But it solves a problem, so that way people need what you want, not necessarily what you want. I know I've been in the nightclub business, entertainment business, and I chose that business because it's recession proof, because when people are depressed or going through, they still want to have a good time. Just like movie theaters during down times, movie theaters thrive because people, they can't afford to go out and have dinner, they can't afford to go buy a new car or buy a house, but they can afford to what they can't afford to do is to entertain themselves. And so I've been in the entertainment business because of that, and part of my success is because I go after and do things that everybody else doesn't do. So I found my target market, saw my solution, became a solution of a problem, and so I've been successful of it. Just like now, I'm a business consultant and coach because I help. There's a need for folks to learn how to do business the right way and not get taken and fleeced while they do it. And so I offer a great service for a great price, and so I'm able to do it because I'm solving a problem. So look for what it is that you can solve, the problem that you can solve, and then you have a better chance of success. Number 4, keep it simple. I almost put on there KISS, which is keep it simple stupid. But I say keep it simple saint because it's one of those things that a lot of times, because we see somebody else doing something, we see that they have a 200-page business plan, or they talk about what it took for them to get started. What you're doing is going to be different for what they're doing. Even though there's nothing new under the sun, but at the same time, if you keep it simple, then I keep it simple. So part of what I want to talk about and say, sorry about that, I just thought about what I really want to say about that, is that with a business plan, I used to talk about, when I first got into being a business consultant and coaching people, that I would tell them they need a large business plan. Why? Because you want to go through everything for what you're doing. But then I realized, especially today, when there's more millionaires and billionaires today than ever before, and they don't have business plans. And so the successful people, they have a strategic plan, and they have a simple plan, because it's going to change based upon technology, time of year. It's going to change based upon staffing, your learning curve, and what you learn, and the experience that you gain from what you're doing. So if you keep it simple, you can always adapt and grow and change and be like, just like a boxer. A lot of times boxers, they slim down. They may bulk up and then they slim down, so that way they have they're slim and trim, so that way they can fight and stay competitive in their battle. So us too, the same thing in business. It's one of those where like I have, we have a couple hundred business plans on our website, and I look and see how many people are going to it, and it's not that you can't find it, it's not that it's not available, it is, but I found a lot less people are doing business plans. It's just by the seat of the pants. But I was saying that not to have a plan, not to have a strategy, but to have a simple plan, and I'll talk about the who, what, why, where, and how. And so that's who you are, who you're going after, what are you doing, where are they, how much is it going to cost, and so forth, are the basics of the who, what, why, where, and how. If you want more information on that, just hit me up down below, and let me know that you want a copy of that, and I'll send it to you. So that way you'll have it. But keep it simple. Don't get too bogged down, because part of the challenge when you're just getting started, you don't want to be overwhelmed. You want to keep that excitement. You want to keep that passion. You want to go forward. If you make it too difficult and make it too hard, then more than likely you won't go through it anyway. You won't finish it and you won't get started. Number 5, count the costs. And so once you start to develop your business idea, add up how much it will cost you to get it started, because one of the things you want to do is again, if you're keeping it simple, then one, you don't need a larger budget, you need a smaller budget, especially today when a lot of stuff that we're talking about is online businesses. You can start an online business for almost nothing. And so if you're trying to do a brick and mortar store, it's going to cost you more. A brick and mortar business is going to cost you more. If you're manufacturing a product of some kind, it's going to cost you more. So you need to go through and through your business plan, add that to your business plan as a financial plan, that you understand what you're doing, because it's one of those where if you don't count up the cost, you watch again using Shark Tank, you'll see people that a lot of them go on there because they ran out of money because they didn't actually count up the cost. They don't have a budget, and so not having a budget, you don't know what you're doing and know where you're going, even though where you're successful. So when you're first getting started, take the time to do a basic, simple financial plan of how much how much it gonna cost you to get the supplies, how much is gas going to be to go get it, if you're going to have it shipped to you, how much it's going to cost for shipping. If you're going to have it manufactured, go through every cost and see how much it costs, and then count it all together so that way you know exactly what it is. And then you look for ways again to keep it simple, so that way you're able to make sure you go forward with the least amount of cost and do it in phases, so that way you're not trying to do everything at one time. So if you keep it simple and you count up the cost, you have a better opportunity for having success. Number 6, imagine yourself with zero money, and I mean zero, because what most of us don't have a silver spoon. Most of us, may not have the best credit, and we'll get into the financial part in a little bit. But the bigger part about this is when you're first getting started, a lot of folks will talk themselves out of doing business because they'll think they got to have a whole bunch of money to do it. I started most of my business with next to no money because I didn't understand like I do now, no business, and so not understanding business, I was able to, I school of hard knocks, getting out there and hustling, generating sales, putting the money back into the business. So if you start with nothing, then it forces you to be more disciplined because you're gonna count up every penny that comes in. You're gonna count it up because you started with nothing. In order to expand, you got to learn to count up the cost. And then imagine, if you're imagining yourself not having money, then when you have money, you still won't spend like you have money. And so that's the cool part about it. Hopefully, if you learn the discipline to do it, you have a better opportunity of financially being successful in your business. Because if you have a lot of money, a lot of times you don't appreciate it, and when you have to work for it, sometimes you appreciate it more. I'm not saying it's the rule of thumb, but I've seen it more times than not than a lot of us, because we started with a bunch of money. I remember when I first got into doing financing for businesses and helping folks get money as a consultant, I've had people, the first thing they do when they get the money, they go out and buy a car, they go out and buy a house, and not invest the money back into the business. And so for them not investing the money back into the business, guess what? They got themselves in trouble. They end up losing the car, end up losing the business, end up losing the house, because they started with something, they weren't ready for it and couldn't handle it. So make sure again you if you start small, then think small, finance and budget yourself small, so that way you'll grow into being more successful because you've done so. Number 7, earn while you build. If you want to start a small business, don't quit your day job yet. And I found that I've had some people, again, depending on what your finances look like, but if we've been telling you to start with, imagining the zero and count the cost and start small, then more than likely you won't be able to replace. A lot of us have jobs because of we have life insurance, we have we have medical and dental and optical insurance, and a 401k plan. So you don't want to walk away from that. So if you do it the right way and allow the business to grow, and then you put away what you make, in your business, so that way you'll put away enough money that eventually, if you build it up enough, you'll be able to walk away. Most of us can't afford it because we don't, we're consumers and not savers or investors. And so as consumers, as soon as we get it, we spend it. As investors, we hold back for the future and invest our money in our future, so that way our money works for us versus us working for our money. So my suggestion is, especially while you're just getting started and you really don't know what you're doing, it would be kind of foolish for you to walk off your job, because until you learn what you're doing, have the right team in place, and you have everything, you have your system in order, and you're doing what you're doing, as I said again a second ago, then you have a larger opportunity for not succeeding. Number 8, speak up about your business. One challenge many business owners face is that they don't know how to sell. And so there's 2 parts of this that I want to talk about. The first part is, ask for help. Don't be afraid to speak up about your business, and you don't know something. Get involved with some networking meetings, and get involved with some courses and classes, which we'll talk about it more in depth in a little bit. But most of us, because we don't speak up about it, we'll never get the sale. You have not because you ask not. You'll never get the sale if you don't ask for it. And so if you don't learn how to sell, then guess what? If you're, just like on your job, you had to sell yourself to get into the job. So when you sat down for the interview, you had to sell yourself. So the same way you're selling yourself in your job and every day being successful, the same thing on your own business. If you learn how to sell, you'll learn to be more successful. The more you sell, the more opportunities you have to sell, the more opportunities you have to be successful and make some money in starting your business. Excuse me, in starting your business. Number 9, competition. Who else does what you are about to do? And this is one of my favorite parts to talk about because it's one of those where I'm a Christian man, and there's a story in the Bible that talks about when the children of Israel was going to go over into the promised land, and Joshua sent the spies over, or the first time, it happened twice. So the first time Moses was the leader of Israel, and so he sent them over to go spy out the land, and Joshua and Caleb came back with a good report, and everybody else came back with a bad report. So in spying out the land, you'll see who your competition is, what it's going to take to win over them, what it's going to take to succeed as a whole. And also, there's nothing new under the sun. So by learning who your competition is, where they are and what they're doing, going in and be a secret shopper or secret diner, or whatever the case may be, based upon your business and business model. Go to their website if it's an online business and look what they're doing. So that way you have, again, a better opportunity to succeed because you'll look at what they're doing and, use part of their model. Because, again, if they're successful and growing and they are competition, then, there's nothing new under the sun. So you can mimic part of their system. Just like McDonald's, a lot of these other franchises and all these hamburger stands have utilized their system. They've changed it because they serve different burgers, but the system a lot of times you'll see is their system that they're operating from. So that way, no matter what you are or what you're doing, you know what they're doing and they're doing the same thing. And all they do is just add their flavor to their business model. So in your business model, don't think that you're the only one doing it. Don't think that you don't need to source them and what do they know. I got the best thing since sliced bread. God gave me this idea, but guess what? If you don't go, if based upon what Scripture says and based upon what I've seen in the many businesses that I've done business, more businesses have gone out of business because they didn't know, right around the corner or the next city over, there's someone doing it smarter, better, cheaper than you. But if you didn't know about it, so you open up thinking that I can charge whatever, or I can just treat anybody any kind of way, and come to find out that wasn't the way to do it, and they end up losing their business because of not just simply going out and checking out who your competition is. You'll be successful. So number 9 is go see who your competition is. Number 10, balance passion with wisdom. One of the most important ingredients in a successful business idea is passion. And one of the things that I've learned, I was passionate about cutting lawns because I was good. I wasn't passionate about cutting lawns. I was passionate about the money that I can make and the opportunity to get some Converse Chuck. I can't think of his last name. And get the Converses back in the day because I share the story when I first started in business. I had I wanted to, I was 11 or 12. I can't remember if it was either 11 or 12. But anyway, I had this opportunity because my dad, we used to cut our own home lawn and edge our own lawn. He taught us at a young age to do it. And so we used to get an allowance that, if we did our chores, we just take out the trash, keep our room clean, wash the dishes, and mow the lawn, that we would get an allowance every week. And so what he did one day was he's like, well, he thought he was kidding, but at the same time serious. He said, well, if you want to do it, go earn it. Because I already had some Converses or some other type of tennis shoes, and I wanted these. And so he says, well, if you want to do it, go out and earn it. So I started this lawn care service, a lawnmower service back in the day, and I ended up getting 5 or so or 10. I think it was 10 accounts that I did every week, and then 5 that I did once every 2 weeks or something like that. So I ended up building a little small business, and my dad says I can use the lawnmower, I can use whatever the resources at home, just make sure I replace it to make sure there's gas in it, in the lawnmower and the edger. So when I got when it's time for us to use it at home, that was there. So he would take us to the gas station, of course, and so he was teaching us discipline and helping us understand how to put together business, the business and business model. But I was passionate about the money and the converses and what I got by starting my business. And then when I actually got into a full-time business, I was passionate about being in the entertainment industry and being a DJ and a party promoter. And so I learned because I hung out with the right people, the guys that got me involved and taught me the business side. They had the wisdom that I needed, and then my passion and their wisdom caused me to be successful in the business arena that I've been in since 1975, I believe, 74, 75, that I've been full time in this doing events and so forth, and I love it because I'm passionate about it. And even there's been certain times that like I was a part of something that for 6 years I didn't make a profit. I didn't care because I was passionate about it, and so I made money in other areas in the entertainment business. But just know that, be willing to do it, even if you did it for free because you're passionate about it. You'll do it because of the passion, because of the desire to do what it is, and being knowing that you're helping people and knowing that you're good at it and you love it. That wisdom comes from you being passionate. You'll take the time to learn about what it is that you need to do to be successful. That's one again, one of the most important ingredients of being a successful business is always being passionate about what you do. Not saying don't, as we talked about earlier, that go and see what others are doing and feel a need. So there's enough out there that people need certain things. It's so funny because I was, again, I use Shark Tank. There's something called the Scrub Daddy, and the Scrub Daddy is now $1 billion business because this guy was passionate about helping people to. He saw a problem that the normal scrubbers for washing dishes were not that good, and so he came up with a concept that he put together a smiley face, and the smiley face in his invention was doing some pretty awesome stuff because it met a need, and he read that need for prosperity. He ended up partnering with Lori Grenier of Shark Tank, and the rest is history. But he started off with passion, and he partnered with somebody that had wisdom and had the finances and the understanding of how to do it, and they worked together in order to prosperity. So those are the top 10 things for you to prerequisites of understanding what you need in order to get. I mean, there's more, but I just want to keep it simple and do those 10. And so let's go into the next